Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Sharon Sews. This is where we talk all about sewing. Today is a sewing catch-up. It's been a while since we've chatted and I've been really busy and have not been producing a lot of videos or actually sewing a lot for that matter, as you may have noticed. And let's just do a quick little catch-up. I don't know about you, but I feel like summer was just, I can't really snap. I feel like summer was here and gone. We were approaching June and now it's September. I can't even tell you what I did. We were busy, but I don't really have anything that I could check off like we accomplished all that much. So I don't know, maybe it was the same for you. Maybe it's just us. We were busy, but I don't really have any big things to share with you that took place. I did celebrate another birthday. I am a summer baby. And you know, it's kind of funny. I was Googling Sharon Sews YouTube. I don't even know why I was Googling it, but I Googled Sharon Sews YouTube and a question came up that said, how old is Sharon Sews? So I want to know how old I am. I am closer to 70 than I am 60. There you go. You can figure it out from there. I feel like I was in a sewing slump this summer. Actually, I feel like I've been in a sewing slump since my father passed in February. It's been just over 6 months and I'm feeling like I want to be creative again. I'm just now to the point after 6 months where I'm cutting into the shirts and making the quilt for my mother. I feel bad that it's taken this long, but I just was not ready. Even though logically I kept telling myself, you know, you might as well cut into them because if you donate the shirts, they could very well just get tossed. But I still was having a hard time actually making that first cut. I think the first cut was the hardest, and once I have that quilt done, I will share it with you. One thing that did get me out of my sewing slump was testing a pattern for Itch to Stitch, the Camilas Dress. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. That's how I'm pronouncing it. This is not really a style dress that I typically wear, but when she put out the call to test the pattern, I thought, you know, this is just what I need to get my mind focused on sewing again. And it was such a close dupe to this Anthropology dress. I thought, oh, well, that would be really fun. It's very current and of the moment. The first one I did was sewn out of this black floral print. And I liked the dress. I've worn it like once. But I sewed another one. I wanted to sew one out of a lighter fabric so that you can actually see the details of the elastic casings at the waistline, which, by the way, that is the only difficult part of this dress. It just takes a lot of time to thread the elastic through those 3 casings, but I do think it's an important part of the look. The fabric is a rayon chelly that I purchased from Fabric Mart Fabrics. I did make one little change to it. I did add a little bit under the bust so that the elastic wasn't on the bottom of my bust, but right below it. And that is just something that I needed to do for my body shape. Gotta be honest with you though, I think the dresses are really cute. I think they look really cute when I'm modeling them, and I just don't like to wear them. They just don't feel right. And I guess you gotta feel good in what you're wearing or you just don't feel comfortable. We'll see. It's still warm enough here that I could get away with wearing the black one. I think the pink one is just way too summery now that we're into September. Another thing I sewed once I got out of that sewing slump was a bib for my mother. The last time my husband and I were in Minnesota, we had taken my mother out for lunch at one of her favorite restaurants. And the conversation turned to how nice it would be to actually have a little bib. You know, in your 90s, sometimes it's a little more challenging to notice if food has gone onto the front of your shirt. So we talked about a bib. I said, I can make one for you. When I was at a Nimble Thimble, my BERNINA dealer, my favorite quilt shop locally, I hope you support your local stores also. Anyway, I was there and I asked if she had a pattern for an adult bib, and she had this package. It was a June Tailor Quilt As You Go adult bib / apron. Well, I didn't realize till I started putting it together how big it was. I mean, look at how big it is. It's got Velcro on it, but I think it can still go over the head also. I did ask my mother if she had enough flexibility to be able to do Velcro, and she said yes. But look at how big this is. It's cute though. So my mother likes purple and she likes butterflies, and that's why I chose these fabrics. And it was easy to sew. It's got the lines on the batting already. That's why it's Quilt As You Go. Instructions were easy. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing a project that I really didn't have to think about. I ordered a pattern from Simplicity. They had a pattern sale recently. I ordered $94.89. You know, they don't tell you in the description the size of these things, so you're just supposed to guess by the models, but they're all sitting, so it's a little hard to tell. This is another really big one. I took 3 inches off of this. This one is not as heavy because it's not quilted. It's just quilting cotton. This is left over from an apron project I did for a friend. This is just fabric I had on hand. So obviously it's completely reversible. This took about 30 minutes to sew, start to finish. So if you need to do adult bibs for someone you know, here you go. No, like this. Here you go. Super easy. You probably don't need the pattern, but it was only $4 and I'll use it again, so. That's that. When we were in Minnesota, we were there for a celebration of life. And of course, we had a chance to see family, both my side of the family and my husband's side of the family. And you know that I found time for SR Harris because that's what I do. And I gotta tell you, I didn't buy much fabric. I don't need a lot of fabric. I've narrowed down my fabric stash quite a bit. I have donated a lot of things to a local thrift store that I know sells fabric and patterns because I've purchased them before in the past. And things that I know I'm not going to use, I'm just letting them go. I'm letting them go so that other people hopefully will find them, purchase them, and enjoy them. So when I was at SR Harris, as much as I love looking at SR Harris and looking at fabric, I didn't buy a lot. I bought a couple pieces of linen, and then I bought this piece of Liberty of London Tonna Cotton Lawn. Isn't it pretty? I love the colors. They had a lot there. They were $24.99 a yard, which I think is a good price. And I just bought enough to make another Style Arc Zalia top, one of my favorite tops. This is number 4. I need to do a makes video for you so you can see everything. I did sew a little bit this year, but this is one of the things that I sewed. I deserve an award. I purchased this fabric in July. It's September and I've already used it. I don't typically do that. I have a very bad habit of putting it away in the closet and promptly moving on to the next project and forgetting about it. That's one of my goals this year, is I'm being more intentional on what I'm purchasing and what I'm sewing. You know, you might have noticed in these pictures that I'm sharing with you that I'm wearing these really lovely, my husband calls them Terminator glasses. Does anyone remember the Terminator movies? Those are so good. Anyway, he calls them my Terminator glasses. I need to wear them anytime I'm outdoors because I did cataract surgery way back in June. Not just normal cataract surgery. I went with the light adjustable lenses. The way they work is you get these light adjustable lenses put in when you have the cataract surgery, and then they adjust your eyes, your correction, using UV lights. And you have up to 3 times to do the adjustment. The 3rd time they lock it in. That's what your vision will be. I've been going back since July, the end of July, every week. And my eyes haven't, what's the best word, settled yet, for lack of, I don't know the technical term. I'm supposed to go back again next week, and I'm hopeful next week they'll be able to do the 2nd adjustment with the light and get my vision where it should be. Wow, that was a long explanation as to why I've been wearing those not so cute glasses. I have done a few other little sewing projects, just some quick little tops like what I'm wearing right now. I've just been in a Style Arc mood lately. This is a Style Arc Joan Woven top. This is 2 colors, as you can see, left over from another project, cotton rayon voile from Emma Sock. And I also sewed this one out of a rayon linen blend from SR Harris, purchased a year ago. I was going to sew a dress out of it to wear to Florida on our vacation in February, but of course my father passed in February, so I was with family instead of going on vacation. Instead of sewing a dress, I sewed another Joan Woven top and then a pair of Albie woven shorts. I did lengthen the shorts. What's that, 4 inches, 5 inches? They're pretty short. That seems pretty short, and I don't wear my shorts that short any longer. I mentioned that I purchased the Simplicity pattern for the Bibs, $94.89, when Simplicity.com was having a sale, which they have been having sales fairly frequently if you are looking to purchase patterns online. I also purchased a couple other patterns, which kind of surprised me because I haven't really been purchasing a lot of the big 4 patterns. This is what I got. $99.52, Simplicity. I just like the look of this it's kind of an oversized button front top, kind of loose fitting. That surprised me because I'm not big into the button fronts, but it doesn't surprise me that I wanted loose fitting. Then I have Butterick, another loose fitting top, $69.82, more of a tunic. This was in one of my Sew the Look videos. I'll link that above if you haven't seen it yet. I do like the look of that top. I like the length of the sleeves. I think that works really well in the Texas weather that I have. And I bought a coat pattern, 2052. I don't need coats. I have a closet full of coats that I hardly ever wear unless we travel to Minnesota in the winter. But I do like this design. I like the designer. It did say denim was one of the recommended fabric, so I might sew myself one of these out of denim. And then a sweatshirt pattern. This is actually for my daughter. This is Simplicity 3012. I think she would really like the short sleeve with the hoodie. I don't get this. I don't get the open elbow. I mean, I think it would work for me in Texas, but when I lived in Minnesota, there's no way I would have wanted air getting in there. It's too cold. The last one I bought is a dress, 2044. This is rated advanced. I'm not real sure why, maybe because it's lined or something. But I thought this would be in red, a really cute Christmas dress, and it's a designer dupe that I'm going to replicate. Many of you know that I am a BERNINA ambassador, and I'm continuing on again through 2024, just a little bit delayed in starting my projects because of course, my father passing and all the things that we were doing with family. But I'm focusing on for 2024 projects is embroidery. I have an embroidery module now added to my 770 QE+. I was very afraid to try machine embroidery. And in fact, I am in the process of finishing up a blog post for the BERNINA We Also blog about, are you scared to do machine embroidery? Enough where I picked up the embroidery unit and I didn't even want to take it out of the box. I was afraid I was going to break something, that I wouldn't be able to do it, and all the things that go through your head. I think as an adult, when we learn new things, we tend to maybe be harder on ourselves than we were as a child. I remember when I was a child, you jump in. I remember when I first started sewing, even as a teenager, I just jumped in, even if I didn't know I could do it. I made my father a leisure suit, for goodness sakes, when I was 16 years old. I knew nothing about tailoring. I didn't care. Actually, he didn't care either. He wore it proudly. But I just think as an adult, we put greater expectations on ourselves and we're afraid if it's not perfect. Well, you know what? Throw those out the window. Because if you don't try new things, how do you know? How do you know if you're going to like it? Well, I am happy to report, and you will read it in the blog post, that it was easier than I thought. Now, that's not to say I did not make some mistakes, and that's how you learn. So I'm super excited about machine embroidery. My first blog post is actually published already. I made bucket hats and I put an embroidered design, machine embroidered design on each of them, and they were for some young relatives of mine. I'll link to that blog post if you want to have a look. And talking about new things, so one thing that I did learn that has nothing to do with sewing, I learned how to make sourdough bread. That was another thing that I thought was going to be really, really hard. And it was so much easier than I thought it would be. And my first loaf was perfect. And my second loaf, I goofed. So I reached out to the instructor. We figured out what I did wrong. Again, it's okay to make mistakes when you're learning new things. There's a lot of sewing challenges going on right now in the sewing world. There's only so much that I can participate in, and I know you feel the same way. I know there is a So Powerful purse project going on. I was really tempted to do that one this year. I'm not going to have time to do it, but it's on my calendar for next year. I know Mari Mari Sews for Curves, I think, is coordinating the Dress a Girl Around the World project again this year, which I'll link in the description box below. That's a great one to participate in. And the one that I am doing is being led by Tomcat Stitchery. They reached out to me to see if I would participate, and it's Sew the Precious Fabric. My video will go live on September 13th, so be sure to subscribe and check back, where I talk about my precious fabric and what I'm going to sew with it. Regarding my channel and the videos that I actually have not been publishing for you, I have a number of them that are filmed, half edited, and I'm not so sure that I might not just start over. I mean, my hair's even different from when I was filming those videos. I had it cut and I'm not doing any color again, by the way. It's been over 2 years since I had any color. I'm letting the gray come. I think, see, once the gray gets here, I think it's gonna look good. Anyway, regarding content for the channel, I have a makes video in the works. I also have another sew the look with big 4 patterns for fall, and then I'm working on a bunch of shorts. I am taking all of these little booklets that I've collected over the years. They're just sitting in my closet. I'm gonna make little shorts and we'll flip through each of these little booklets and we can see fashions from the 70s. If you have things you'd like me to share with you on this channel, if there's things you want me to do tutorials on, if there's something you want me to do a sew along on, any of those type of things, please leave it in the comments for me because I want to create content that's valuable for you. It was great to have this little sewing catch up with you. Until I see you in the next video, I hope you have a blessed day. Happy sewing.